You have a book. One side says walking route, one side says bus route. Make sure you use the right one. So you're on the walking route.
This is a community of wonderful people. Some residents have lived here for more than 50 years, and others are newcomers, coming to Canada from places all over the world. How well do we know this neighborhood?
Are there extra large?
Okay, who needs sunscreen? Who doesn't have any on?
Do we have a complete team?
Yeah, we have two complete teams.
You have two complete teams. Do you want to do both at once?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Get everybody together.
We wanted to hold an event in our community that was fun and interactive. We wanted residents to have a sense of pride in the rich history and culture of our neighborhood. We decided to call it The Amazing Place.
All right, let's go.
On Saturday, June 16th, 2007, more than 120 people came out to discover a little bit more about the neighborhood. Young and old, families and singles, we formed teams and started out on this community hunt for local history in Southeast Scarborough.
Can we ask you a couple questions for the Amazing Race video?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. You got it? Okay, so can you tell us your names, or if you have a team name?
Our name is the Lily Pads.
The Lily Pads?
Yeah.
Wicked.
She came up with it. Yeah. Because we're green, so you know. The Lily Pads.
Several young people were instructed on the use of video cameras and helped to capture the memories of the day. The event was organized through a partnership of Planning Action, a group of urban planners, architects, students, and activists who work towards social and environmental justice with Toronto's diverse communities. Residents Rising, a local volunteer action group, and the East Scarborough Storefront, a community resource centre. The City of Toronto Festivals Grant and the local police division's Community Liaison Committee helped to pay the costs related to the day. Participants were given green t-shirts, umbrellas, pedometers, cameras, and sent out to discover and photograph the wonderful sights in our community. Passport booklets outlined the map and described the sites for either the walking route or the bus route. Those on the bus route were given TTC day passes to get around the neighborhood. Volunteers wearing orange t-shirts were posted at each site and described the significance of the site to those who came along. Amazing Place participants had to complete an activity at each site and have their passport book stamped before they could move on to the next stop on their incredible journey. You couldn't miss seeing the many green t-shirts walking and riding throughout the community on this very hot Saturday in June. This Kingston, Galloway, and Orton Park neighborhood has had a reputation as being unsafe, with issues of poverty and social problems where residents feel disconnected. We had a lot of curious stares from pedestrians and motorists alike. Something fun was happening in our neighborhood.
The moral of the story of The Amazing Place is walk wherever you go in Scarborough. Do not rely on transit.
Unlike residents living in the downtown neighborhoods, community members living in Southeast Scarborough are very reliant on our public transit system. Sometimes this means waiting 30 minutes or more to catch a bus to work or to school. We thought it was important to include TTC rides on The Amazing Place. It's a part of life for those living in our community. Even City Councillor Paul Ainsley got involved, helping to introduce residents to the beautiful site of the Guild, gardens, and outdoor sculptures. Many Amazing Place participants were unaware we had such a beautiful public park, so close to their home, and right on Scarborough Bluffs. What a great discovery.
Passport, please. You got it, dude.
This is my son Jimmy. He's in charge of stamps.
So have you guys been to the Guild before?
Nope. Well, this was first built in 1932. It started off, this was the main building, and then through the trees you can see a tower. It started off during the 1930s as a artist colony, and the owner also started collecting fragments of buildings downtown when they were being torn down. Like the columns here were part of an office building downtown. If you go around to the back, you'll see there's a Greek amphitheater there, and that was part of the TD Bank that was at Young and Bank.
Gijik House started here under Native Child and Family Services in November 2005. Native Child and Family Services has been in this area for quite some time now, just not at this house. This house was named by a traditional elder, and it got its name. Gijik means sun. And I like to tell people that the sun is the beginning of new things, of the new day, kind of like this house. It's a new beginning. We're still young, this house here. That sound that you're hearing, what does that sound like? Heartbeat? There you go. Heartbeat. This represents the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Firmly holding in our left hand closest to our heart.
From Aboriginal culture to the first Jamaican drive-through restaurant in Toronto, the amazing place tried to bring fun and flavor to everyone who participated. Southeast Scarborough is certainly a vital and diverse community, with First Nations people who continue to build community and fight the historical injustice of colonialism, to more recent immigrants from Asia, Europe, and the Caribbean. We continue to grow and change.
Can you tell us what you've been doing today?
Well, basically, we've been visiting different sites and resorts that we haven't known about, like we never knew about. So it's a pretty good, like, it's nice to know about like the Scarborough history and stuff behind it, instead of the negative stuff that you always hear. It's nice to see the positive in the area.
Excellent. And what's been your favorite site so far?
I actually said this before, but I'll say it again. I think it's the Guild, because I seen like the beautiful like flowers and just the building and stuff, and I got to read about how it was made, when it was built, and like the history behind it. So that was really good. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Monique. Awesome.
I suppose it's an area where girls and boys meet up after school in order to do recreational programs. It's a nice facility, as you can see from the outside.
Well, 51 years ago, I started the Scarborough Police Youth Club. And it evolved into the East and West Scarborough Boys and Girls Clubs and the Scarborough Aventura Athletic Association and the Winstonette Girls Rhythmic Dance Gymnastic Group. So the program originally was designed to help get kids off the street and give them something of interest to do in their spare time. It was a program with gymnastics for girls and boys, track and field, swimming and diving, boxing, wrestling, weightlifting, and judo.
So can you just tell me a bit about what this site is and what you do here?
This is the Youth Employment Local Leadership Program. It's an initiative by the Boys and Girls Club of East Scarborough, as well as the City of Toronto and the federal government. It's a program to deal with 36 at-risk youth that we have here in Scarborough, and it's a program to help them either return to school or gain employment when the program finishes.
Lots of young people came to meet new friends, learn about the neighborhood, and celebrate the dreams of many members of our community who work for a better future. Today, as in the past, people are striving to build a better future that is more just, accessible, and inclusive. Many groups are working toward better transit, more spaces for youth, locally grown food, better recreation facilities, more public spaces, and better jobs. people are challenging racism and discrimination of all kinds while celebrating the important work of those who came before them. This was a day of discovery and also a day of reflection. Children discovered that the East Scarborough storefront was once a police station, and they timidly made a visit to the jail cells. From a rusty old water tower that the community used as its landmark, to places of worship from hundreds of years ago, participants were challenged with discovering the roots of this neighborhood and the richness of its history and culture. The oldest church in the neighborhood was built in the early 1800s and was later destroyed by fire. However, the historical 100-year-old chapel continues to be preserved. The adjoining cemetery is the burial site for many early settlers of southeast Scarborough. Now we know why our streets have certain names. Farmland predominated our neighborhood along Kingston Road, which was the main travel route to the city of Kingston before Highway 401 was even constructed. A restaurant that started as a hot dog stand and grew to a thriving business was once the location where residents parked their horses and took the Radial Railway into Toronto. The Radial provided hourly service to West Hill, which is the traditional name of our community. Residents who've lived here for many years don't realize that our neighborhood was once a transportation hub way back in 1906.
Those two plaques are honor rolls. The name of the reverend is in one of those plaques, and the middle has the text on it.
How come there's a wedding happening here and we're coming here?
Because weddings happen.
Proximity to water was very important for early settlers, and it provided a transportation route, as well as natural resources for operating mills. The miller was an important person in the community, and there were several mills located in our area. Amazing Place participants had an opportunity to try out a grist mill, turning grain into flour. We learned that there were also woolen mills and sawmills. A couple of enthusiastic volunteers dressed up as early day loggers and entertained our participants with their stories and exciting adventures of logging many years ago. This was an important part of our history. From the old to the newly built library, our goal was to connect residents to the wonderful resources in our community. People enjoy living in this neighborhood, but are not always aware of the number of services that are available to them. And we topped the day off with a delicious meal for the hot, tired, and hungry participants. This was their reward for a few hours of walking, riding, and learning about Southeast Scarborough.
Today was a big success. Me and my group were pretty tired. It's been a long day, but it went by good.
Today, we crawled, we walked, we strolled, we limped, we jumped, we hopped, all the way to historic places in Scarborough.
So what do you think was the purpose of the day?
I guess the purpose of the day is for us all to get an understanding of our deep history through the various buildings and sites in Scarborough. I think the community should know what's out there instead of just focusing in their own area. They should explore and learn about new things. That's one of my experiences that I have acquired today.
My name's Chanel, and I'm from Yale, the Youth Employment Local Leadership Program, and the experience that I came across was very tiring. It was a hot day. It's 33 degrees, but it was an amazing place to be.
So Heather, as one of the organizers, what were you hoping the day would be like? Or what were you hoping the event would?
I was hoping people would see all these different layers of their neighborhood and get a chance to learn about different, I don't know, neighborhoods and different things going on in their neighborhood and the history of their neighborhood. And I hope that happened. I think it did. So, yeah.